My name's Lisa. I grew up knowing about God through my mother, and although she believed in God, she wasn't a practicing Christian. And I also knew of God through religious studies at school. And while I believed in God, I had a really superficial understanding of who He is, and I didn't bother to question anything or think about it too much. And it's not until I look back on my life now that I can see that God was always there for us and I wasn't there for Him. I come from a close-knit family and I've had a pretty good and happy life. However, my life was lacking that spiritual guidance and purpose, and I base my decisions solely on my own desires. And I think, looking back, I took God for granted. I only called on Him when I needed something and when I felt afraid, and my prayers were pretty shallow. And my eldest brother, who was a Christian, he often tried to share the Word of God with our family, but sadly it fell on deaf ears, although we respected what he had to say. And I think a big part of it for me was not wanting to give up my lifestyle, and now I know that is not the case. The turning point in my life when I came to know God was when my brother suddenly passed away from a cardiac arrest in 2017. And then a year later, a really close friend of mine who I'd grown up with since I was 10 years old, she passed away from cancer. And my brother's passing came as a huge shock to my family, and it was through shared grief that my eldest brother offered to give Bible study lessons, and this brought me great comfort, and from there that's where my connection to God grew stronger. I first heard about Amazing Facts through my eldest brother, who introduced me to the Amazing Facts study guides and the media library. And I remember the first thing that I watched was The Richest Caveman by Doug Batchelor, and I found his testimony to be so compelling and encouraging. And I also like the way that Amazing Facts preach, because it's a question and answer approach, and I just found that that really helped with my learning. I began to experience a real shift in my life, be that in my attitude, my behaviour, my relationships, and wanting to live my life according to, the Word of God. So through the Amazing Facts ministry, I've gained a deeper understanding of God's character, His plan for salvation, and His unwavering love for us. I really enjoyed Bible Answers Live. I've learned a lot from that, and I used to think I perhaps had some silly questions, but seeing what other people send in, I thought, I was thinking the same thing. So it's really helped me, and I've really enjoyed watching those series. I was baptised in 2021, and it was the best decision that I've ever made, and my life is all the better for it, and God's in my heart. And since accepting Christ, I've now found that purpose and fulfillment, particularly in my relationship with Him, and I strive to live my life in accordance with His teachings. And I embrace the Sabbath. I love going to church, and I love having a role within the church. And whilst life still presents challenges and uncertainties, I don't worry as much, because I've now got that newfound sense of peace and hope. And my goal is to share the good news, particularly with my family and friends who haven't come to know God and His love for us. My name is Lisa, and I'd like to thank Jesus and Amazing Facts for changing my life.